Portelli, he went to Coles and he started buying all the stuff for people.
Yeah, he copped a lot of backlash for that.
Oh, he's only doing it for promotion. He's only doing it so he looks good in the public eye. Yeah, but he's doing it and he doesn't have to.
If they're doing it for views and likes and clicks, good on them. At least they're doing something.
There's definitely mental health benefits of drinking if you do it in the right way. Alcohol, it does have some positive effects on your mind. So does methamphetamines. It doesn't mean you should do it.
Yeah.
Any advice for dads out there? My daughter's 16, has a boyfriend. He wanted to come over at 11 o'clock at night.
Nope.
She was pissed off about it for a long time. They're kids. They can't make the best decisions all the time.
Your job as a parent is to protect your kids from them not being able to make those right calls.
Welcome to the Better Bloke podcast. I'm Matty.
I'm Rob.
And we're just a pair of average blokes on a mission to try and be a little bit less average.
We're going to speak about all things highs and lows of what it feels like to be a bloke, plus speak to some legends along the way about what it takes to be a better bloke. Let's get stuck in.
It's that time again where we're going to do the best of Blokes advice. That's our big Facebook group with over 300,000 blokes in there. And it's all sorts of things, from the funny stuff to the meaningful stuff to boys asking for a little bit of advice. We're taking a look at some of the top posts and having a look at what happens within the inner sanctum of Blokes advice. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Ooh.
I'm always ready for best of blokes advice chat.
All right, let's rip straight into it with this one. It's a pretty good one. One of those situations that doesn't happen to everyone, it does happen, and you start thinking, is this a life changer? Could this be something that changes everything when you kind of know it doesn't?
Well, you can't just lead with that. That's like you're building suspense.
He says, the bank accidentally reimbursed $93,000 instead of the $16,000 final payment on my home loan. How can I utilize it? How can I take advantage of it? Any consequences? And he posted a screenshot. He's got an extra $93,000 in his account. Clearly a mistake on the bank's behalf. You don't want to mess with them. What would you be doing?
Going to Mexico for a big week.
There was a lot of that in the comments, to be honest.
Sweet, yeah. I think that's just boys chat, isn't it?
Yeah, boys chat. A lot of guys are like, look, you can screw over a lot of people, but not the big banks.
Yeah, they tend to get it back.
You'll be paying that back. So don't be too silly. The best advice probably was put it in a high interest account, see what you can get out of interest, and then give it back when they ask for it.
Do they then ask the interest back off that too? If it's
No, it's their mistake. You get to keep the interest for sure, but I'm sure it's only going to take them a couple of weeks. You're probably not going to end up too far ahead. But there was better comments in there.
I mean, that amount of money to a bank is literally like losing 5 cents down the seat.
Probably less, but they're a bank, so they're coming for you.
Yeah.
One bloke says, put it all on black. If you win, put the money back you just made, 93K. But if you lose, you're probably going to go to jail. So there's a 50% chance you've made $93,000 and a 100% chance of getting laid because you'll go to prison or have an extra heap of money. 2,500 likes on that one, so it's pretty good.
I mean, it depends. If you... Nah, I wouldn't do that one. What's the next one?
A lot about buying drugs, cutting it with baby formula and doubling your money.
Baby formula in itself has a great return.
It does. You could buy...
So you don't even need to cut it with anything. You can just buy bulk baby formula.
I guess the idea is how can you invest it quickly and not lose the initial 93K so you can make the most out of it. I think the interest is by far the safest because you're not going to be able to cash out of any investment real quick.
No. Yeah, it's definitely interest is the best way forward. Did you end up saying what happened with it? Has the bank asked for it back?
No, there hasn't been an update, so he might be in jail.
Getting laid.
This one happened a little while ago, and it was all around Portelli when he went to Coles and he started buying all the stuff for people.
Yeah, back at Christmas time.
Back at Chrissy time. And one of the members was in Coles, I think it was in Tassie, and he just put up an appreciation post. He's like, why aren't more billionaires doing stuff like this? And why are they giving him a hard time for actually doing something good? So he was on the receiving end. He had a photo with him and Portelli. He obviously paid for all his stuff, and it was just like a thank you post for being a good bloke.
He copped a lot of backlash for that.
What do you think that is?
Tall poppy syndrome. Guys see someone being successful and go, nah, I don't like him because of that. So maybe it's more of like a self-reflection thing. They're feeling sort of uncomfortable with themselves because they're not at that level.
I get that if you were upset about him craning a McLaren into a car, that'd be impressive.
It would.
Into a penthouse, or him bragging about his yachts and his planes and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, fuck that guy. But this was just straight up a gesture of goodwill. I think it's hard to slap down on that. And even if you were to say, oh, he's only doing it for promotion, he's only doing it so he looks good in the public eye. Yeah, but he's doing it and he doesn't have to.
It's very true. We spoke to Powerfish about that months ago, where all those guys that film themselves doing these good things, at least they're still doing the good things. So, yeah, even though it's clickbaity, it's for likes, it's for clout, it's for whatever it is, they're still out there doing the positive things. So, yeah, my views have changed on that a fair bit. I used to be pretty off that, but I'm for it. As long as someone's doing the right thing and they're trying to do something good in the world and put out some positivity, if they're doing it for views and likes and clicks, good on them. At least they're doing something.
Yeah, at least it's having that positive impact in the world. And kind of, it doesn't matter so much what the intention behind it if the action is the same to the people receiving it anyway.
Yeah.
So if you get a 10 grand briefcase because some guy wants some views, it's still 10 grand and it's still going to have a big impact.
I'm going to still be stoked with 10 grand.
Yeah, I don't think that person's complaining.
Unless they're going to ask for it back once the video's done.
I don't think that'd last too long.
No. Word would get out pretty quickly about that.
Mr. Beast cops a bit of heat because something to do within America, if you get given something, you have to pay a tax on it. Or maybe he gives someone, I think he gave someone a jet and they sold it and then they had to pay a tax on the jet. So let's say it was $2 million and they had to pay $400,000 in tax. They're like, you're making this guy pay 400 grand. Mr. Beast is a rort.
But he still made 1.6 that he didn't have.
Ridiculous. And people nitpick on that as a reason to discredit what he's doing.
Do you reckon that's like a human nature trait though? Where like if you're looking at restaurants, for example, you'll always only see the bad reviews. So if someone has a bad experience, they go, I'm going to write a bad review. No one writes good reviews. People do, but usually you pay for them and get your customers to write good reviews.
You're a lot less inclined.
Yeah, because it's just like, oh, this is expected.
You only need to have a slightly bad experience to talk about it, but you have to have an exceptionally good one
to speak about that.
So it comes back to, I think, humankind being more inclined to see the negative in things. We expect it to be good. So when it's good, it meets expectations. When it's bad, it falls away from expectations. And that's why people get shitty. I don't know if that completely relates to how you treat other people's actions. I think going back to what you're saying in
tall poppy
syndrome, cutting someone else down to make yourself feel a little bit better, that's where I see that coming from.
Yes, that's shit.
Yeah, it's
Don't
shit
cut
behavior.
people down that are doing good for themselves. Lift yourself up to try and match them.
Did you see this one that popped up? A guy posted, gents, what's your cure for a huge sebaceous cyst on your neck? And he posted this crazy big pimple on the back of his head.
Yeah, that was a while ago. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Did you see the photo? Because I just wanted to see it get popped.
Disgusting.
Oh, so good.
Disgusting.
I froth like Dr. Pimple Popper.
What? Okay, what's with that thing? Like
I
the
don't
whole,
know.
like, there's accounts full of pimple popping.
Yeah.
Makes me so not on. I don't like that at all.
No, you're not for that?
If I see that video, I will swipe up so fucking quick so I don't have to watch it.
No, see, I froth that stuff.
I think you're mentally ill.
I'm definitely mentally ill.
So many people that want it.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just there's something satisfying about seeing like a big cyst or a pimple and like get cut open and then the sack comes,
Is it satisfying? Because say like bricklaying in the patterns and when everything fits nicely, that's like a satisfying thing to watch. Or slicing through vegetables very thinly. Like there's videos like that Is it the same thing, or is it an element of like the gore and yuckiness?
It's the gore and the yuckiness in it too. But it's also, I don't know, it's people are getting made beautiful.
They're not. It's gross.
No.
It's gross. Anyway.
I did see that though. Yeah, that was...
Okay. So there was like 1,000 comments on there. And the theme that kept coming up in the comments was, okay, you have this hideous, massive problem on your body. This is a health concern and you've come to Blokes Advice. We're not doctors.
There's plenty of doctors in Blokes Advice.
There might be a couple.
I mean, 300,000 people.
There's some doctors, but
You do the statistics, there's going to be more than a couple of doctors.
I don't think the doctors made the comment section, to be honest, judging by these.
No, probably not. What do we got?
Well, top comment is you.
Of course.
Am I the only one that wants to watch a video of this getting drained and popped with 670 likes? So clearly people, for some reason, are agreeing with you.
They love watching shit get drained. That could go many ways, that actual comment.
Big industry.
Great big industry.
There are people called doctors. They are not new. They have been around a while now. Maybe go and see someone. Sound medical advice. That's what Blokes Advice is for. Someone suggested WD-40 should clean it right up.
WD-40 fixes everything. Not a plug, but if WD-40 wants to reach out to us, are looking for sponsors, and we have the largest all-male community in Australia.
So keeping on mind this thing's on the back of his neck, one bloke suggested he should piss on his feet while he's in the shower.
Like a jellyfish sting.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
That'll fix it right up.
Well, it comes back to that whole baseline thing. How do you know it's not going to fix it? And if he pisses on his feet and it doesn't fix it, he's no worse off.
I guess that's true, but I believe in my limited medical knowledge, it's not going to fix
Are
it.
you a doctor?
I'm not.
So how do you know?
You're right. He's no worse off.
Yeah, so piss on your feet.
That could be a fix. That could be like the new piss disc thing. That could be a reoccurring.
Piss discs. Piss discs are great. And that's a very, very common... So a bit of context here. So a lot of the time, there will be neighbour disputes in Blokes Advice. And a lot of those questions that get asked with that is, how do I get back at my neighbour? The go-to way to get back at your neighbour is give him a piss disc.
What is a piss disc?
So a piss disc is when you piss on a plate and you put it in the freezer and you make a disc of piss, and then you go to your neighbour and you slide it through under their front door or back door, wherever you can slide it. When that disc melts, they'll have a patch of piss at their doorway.
So it's like you slide it right into their house.
Yep.
And then it melts down their hallway. And it's like someone has walked into their house and just taken a piss on the floor.
Yep.
And they have no idea how it happened.
Yep.
That's a piss disc.
That's a piss disc.
That's going to be a reoccurring comment coming up in some of these other posts. If we take it back to Christmas time, there was a hell of a lot of camaraderie and giving from the boys.
Like there is every single year, yes.
One of the ones that sort of sparked my attention was the guy that gave away a PS5.
One of the guys that gave away PS5s?
One of the guys.
Yep.
This was great because the recipient of it put up a post sort of showing his
an appreciation post, yeah.
Yeah, so the guys got around that. It got 5,800 likes. So boys love a little bit of boy love. I'll read through it real quick because it's a bit of a long post. But he said, to the guy that gave it to him, when you posted up the PS5, I was skeptical. I just received bad news about my job and my mum. Fast forward a week, 2 close friends passed away in a horrific car crash. I was then hijacked out of 50K. Pretty much this guy's life wasn't going great. He was very skeptical that this thing wasn't actually true. He thought he was kind of going to get scammed. It was too good to believe. He's got a special needs son as well who is an avid gamer, and his PS3 had just shit the bed. So it couldn't have gone to a more genuine, needy bloke. He said, my son cried, I cried, all in a good way. This bloke went above and beyond. He chucked in a Dan Murphy's gift card to boot. Brother, you are my light right now. All good things come to those who do good. The universe will shine on you. My promise is to pay it forward when I'm in the green again, and someone else here will benefit. Thank you sincerely from my entire family.
It's good. It just makes you feel good, doesn't it? That there is a community in Australia on Facebook that will give guys that feel good moment in such a dark time that they are probably going through. And I love that he's reached out and told people about how it's made him feel, because in turn that just makes other people go, oh shit, I want to make someone feel good.
Yeah, and it's going to have that flow-on effect.
Yeah.
We so often see the giving, but the receiving's like the kind of beautiful side of the story. Like when the guy gave away the Swift and we got to see that sort of handover.
Yep.
Awesome, love it. So before and afters. Moving through it. Now this kind of got sparked by a guy that was asking for advice. His life wasn't going so well. There was a lot of back and forth in the comments, and a lot of it came back to his drinking habits. So a guy put up a post and said he feels sorry for this guy who kind of got, I won't say torn to shreds, but held accountable to how much he was drinking. And that maybe being the primary reason that his life wasn't going the way he wanted. He was drinking about a 6-pack a day.
Probably too much.
So that raised the question, how much should you drink? What's right for you? What's the balance? And that lit the comment section up because everyone has very opposing views on what is the right amount to drink. So I thought that'd be interesting to discuss, seeing that we are probably not on the same level with that after your...
No, we're not on the same level of that. I don't drink.
I still blame that on the day with the rosés.
Yeah, the broses at the races, that was like a year and 8 months ago now.
It really turned you off.
It did a number on me, yeah. Well and truly did a number. And I just haven't really hit the piss since then. Rosés do a thing to a bloke.
Bitch diesel, they call it.
It was well and truly bitch diesel, let me tell you that.
So I do drink a lot. I'm not smashing a 6-pack a day, but I would say the majority of days I will have a couple beers when I'm sitting down with dinner or working or whatever, which a lot of people would say is pretty unhealthy. You shouldn't be drinking daily.
I've told you that multiple times.
A lot of people tell you that.
Because your boys should always pull you up on your shit. That's a helpful tip for you.
A lot of guys are in the same boat in the comment section. It's part of their routine. And whether that's good for your health or not, they love getting home after a hard day's work, cracking a beer. It's what they do, and it's sort of... Alcohol is a... What's the word? It's kind of like a relaxer.
It's a depressant. That's the word. Alcohol is a depressant.
It's kind of a depressant, but it does...
it's like a wind-down tool for a lot of guys.
It does something to you. I think it might release dopamine or something. It does have some positive effects on your mind. So does methamphetamines. It doesn't mean you should do it.
Yeah, don't go hitting the glass Barbie after a hard day's work.
Everything's got positives and negatives. And that's what this comment section was discussing, because a lot of boys was like, 6 nights too fucked, 1 or 2 knockoffs, that's all right. And then other boys were saying, if you drink daily, whether you like it or not, you got a problem. So there was a lot of back and forth there. And I think it comes down to understanding what works for you. But in saying that, it's so easy to justify, oh, I still am a good dad, I still have a good job, and I can drink all this as well. Are you doing it with that, or are you doing it in spite of that?
Well, I think the whole question is, what is too much to be drinking? There is like a textbook answer for that.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, the doctors are wrong.
This comes down to a whole nother thing, that just because there is a textbook answer that you don't agree with doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah, but it's so low. It's like...
Well, that's probably low for a reason. I trust some medical professionals that are actually saying...
It's like 3 or 5 standards a week or something. That's like 2.5 VBs.
That's fine.
No, it's not. Like no one in Australia drinks that much. Like very few people.
I don't drink that much.
Like say
I would be lucky to have that amount of drinks over the last 16 months.
that's not true because we had cocktails and that was probably that amount in each cocktail.
But they're cocktails. They're pretty. They don't count.
Well, that doesn't count.
No, that doesn't count.
But if you think of
Just
whatever it is,
backtrack on all my words just then.
like 3 standard drinks, right? That's like your mum has a glass of wine on Friday and Saturday night. She's over. That seems like not an excessive amount to drink. So I think maybe that's the number for optimal best health. I think optimal health is 0 because there's no actual health benefits to alcohol. But then you have to look at the social implications of it.
Well, we've spoken about that a few times, that there is social benefits of having a beer with the boys. And whether you use that as like a social lubricant or it's just a tool to be able to get out with the boys and have conversations or just hang out with your people, yeah, there's benefits to that. They may not be physical benefits, but the fact that you're out there with people over a beer, there's definitely positive things about it.
There's definitely mental health benefits of drinking if you do it in the right way. Whether that is the ability to socialize or even if you're doing it by yourself for that knockoff unwind, if that works for you and it makes you a little bit happier and it's not being detrimental, I think go for it. I mean, I do it, so I can't really say otherwise.
See, I don't do it, but I'm not against guys that are doing it. I don't know how it... Like, I've been on the tour, so I know how important... Or not important. I know how good a knockoff beer feels on a Friday afternoon. Like, it's... That Friday Arvo knockoff beer, it's different.
The post-mowing cold beer.
I'm not a post-mowing cold beer guy.
There's nothing better than working in the garden all morning. And then, like, I usually wait till like 11 a.m. or midday just so you don't feel too bad. And when you're hot and sweaty and covered in shit, that first cold beer, it's making me pretty excited.
See, I don't feel that because this makes me nervous to say this. Like, I've said some pretty controversial things on this podcast. My missus mows.
Gay.
No, well, she likes mowing. Like, I'll go over it if she doesn't want to do it, but she likes mowing, so I'll let her mow.
Yeah.
I'll whip a snip.
Yeah, well, that counts. You can still have a beer after that.
It's not much.
What do you reckon the best beer is? Is it the Friday Arvy beer? Is it the post... What about the post-fight beer? Is that going to be sweet?
Oh, that's going to be... It's going to be wild. Post-fight beer at the after party for the Podcast Royale is going to be next level. It's probably not even going to be at the after party. It's going to be as soon as I walk out of that ring, the coldest can of beer I can find, and I'm just going to stone cold Steve Austin that bad boy.
And then I'll be there with a glass of rosé.
Keep that away from me.
Changing gears a little bit. Now, this is going to require you to have some thought about your future because you're the closest out of us two that can relate to this one.
Okay.
It's about teenage daughters.
Yep.
Right. This has popped up a few times, but he said, hey guys, any advice for dads out there? My daughter's 16, has a boyfriend. Boyfriend doesn't have much of a good family on his side, so he's moving from his auntie's house to his friend's house all over the place. Moral of the story, they feel kind of bad for this bloke. The daughter feels bad. She wants to take him into the family. He wanted to come over at 11 o'clock at night.
Nope.
Because he was feeling sad, and then she started feeling sad. And the dad said, nah, it's too late.
That's fair.
It's too late. And his wife was like, oh, but it'll make her feel better. And he's like, all right, boys, where's the line? I don't want to make the wrong call here. What should I do?
11 o'clock is very late at night.
There's nothing good happening for a couple 16-year-olds at 11 o'clock at night.
No. I mean, it's good for them probably, but...
Not under your roof, mate.
No, definitely not. No, I think, putting your foot down on that's it's the right call.
The top comment was, you're her father, not her friend.
Yep.
Which can be applied to so many of these situations. And the wife's argument was it'll make her feel better. But that's not always your job, right?
Teenage pregnancy won't make her feel better.
No.
It's pretty fair. I think that's a fair assumption. The dad's doing the right thing with putting his foot down.
Have you thought about what happens when B brings home that first guy?
No, haven't thought that far ahead.
Think about it. What do you reckon?
It's what Hemi's for. Yep.
Hemi will be a trained boxer by this stage.
Hemi's pretty much already a trained boxer. He'll be a proper killer by that point.
One guy put in a comment and he had a pretty similar experience. So he shared his thing. I totally banned my daughter's boyfriend from ever coming to our house after a few lies, dishonesty, and frankly, illegal activities. She was pissed off about it for a long time, and her mum told her that it would blow over. It didn't. Years later, they've broken up. She saw my point of view and reasoning and even admitted it was worse than I even knew and that I was right. She hated to admit it, but did. It's your job to be the parent, not their friend. Same advice again. So he's talking years later. She admitted he made the right call. They're kids. You know, they can't make the best decisions all the time.
Yeah, definitely not. And especially, oh no, your job as a parent is to protect your kids from them not being able to make those right calls. So, yeah, I'm fully for old mate not letting his daughter's boyfriend come over at 11 o'clock at night and sleep over because they're sad.
This is a bit of a throwback. So this was a post that came about around the same time we started the project, but we weren't doing the, best of Blokes advice stuff. So I wanted to bring it back because I love this one.
I do want to do something maybe like a best of throwback where there is some proper heat in the group. So we might start diving deep.
A throwback episode could be cool.
Yeah.
The stepdaughter, who I've raised since she was 9, now 22, asked me today if she can legally change her surname to mine. Fuck, boys. That moment when you know you've done something right.
I remember that post, even though it was a while ago. I remember that hitting so many blokes in the feels.
So hard.
Yeah.
Because there's so many boys out there that are raising kids that aren't directly theirs. And I'm sure it can be testing because what does a 13-year-old know? Fuck you, you're not my dad. Fuck you, you're putting up with some shit. So to actually take them through that whole journey and I guess deal with a lot of stuff that a normal traditional dad wouldn't have to, plus all the stuff that dad has to as well, it'd be a hard task. So the validation of getting them into adulthood and being recognized, it gets you in the feels.
Yeah, I think that she's wanted to do that. That's probably what's made it like special for him. That I don't know, that's pretty special. I think that's good. Yeah, still it hits hard.
The name thing's interesting. That sparks a bit of conversation a lot because whether it's during a divorce and the ex-wife might want to change their names back to her name, stuff like that, or the conversation of who takes the last name in a modern marriage. I think blokes, as much as we're trying to be modern and masculine, we have this thing. We like our last name. We like heritage and lineage, and it means something to boys.
It's legacy. And that comes down to that whole, like, your greatest asset you have is your semen.
My last name's dying with me, so
Yeah, okay.
that's all over Red Rover. All right, what else do we have? Oh, let's go to another one that was a little bit previous, and it was another one about stepchildren. Do you have any idea where I'm going with this one?
No, I don't.
We get the post. Hey fellas, I'm a 25-year-old guy. I'm in love with a 55-year-old woman. We're staying together with her 36-year-old son, and this boy doesn't respect me as his stepfather.
I remember this post.
I'm trying to educate him about life, but he just won't listen. Please help.
Yeah, the 25-year-old stepdad to the 36-year-old stepson. Predicament.
How does he get some respect?
I mean, he's plugging his mum. How else are you supposed to get respect?
Plug his dad.
Well, but then he wouldn't be there.
I mean, you can have two dads. It's 2025, mate.
Yeah, fair. Well, no, how does one do that? Do you just try and do some hand-to-hand combat and the winner gets the respect?
You could throw a piss disc into his bedroom.
A piss disc would do the job.
Palm fronds in the bed were definitely a response that was coming out.
Yep, it would have been.
Someone suggested challenging him to FIFA 09, winner takes all.
Nah, you don't want to do FIFA 09. There's too many variables in that could come back and bite you. 1v1 rust. It's probably the play. But yeah, no, I reckon there's 11 years difference between them. Hand-to-hand combat.
Probably the best way to handle it.
It's the best way. Well, because he wants to respect. He's 25. He's got youth on his side. The 36-year-old probably has a little bit more experience, and he's probably pretty passionate. The fact that he doesn't want a 25-year-old stepdad.
Yeah, you get to jump in the fight with the backing of knowing this guy's plugging your mum. And you don't want that to happen.
But then if you beat him too badly, is he then going to get sympathy plugs?
I think at the end of the day, this is satire. And it was surprising how many blokes didn't really pick up on that.
Yeah.
That guy was taking the piss.
Well, 100%.
So we get a lot of posts like that where it's trolls, essentially. It's just a laugh. It's blokes' advice. We're having fun.
Bit of banter.
How often do you reckon people just like skim over that and take things way too seriously?
All the time. So much. Like, people need to have more of a laugh about satire. Because, I don't know, it's feel good. It starts conversation. It provokes different feelings from different people. And I love a good satirical post.
Oh, and a satirical comment.
I throw a lot of them.
A lot.
Yeah, that's probably most of my comments.
My favourite ones you do are on Queensland Health.
They have a great team. We've said it many times, but it's offers always there, Queensland Health. If you guys want to get someone from your professional outlets to come and sit down with us, we'd love to have some professional medical chats.
They said they were going to come, but the lady that was going to come went on maternity leave. So I don't know how long that takes, but she should be back soon.
It depends when she went on, how long she's got off.
How long do babies take? Like 12 months, eh? Leave them in until they're cooked?
Nah.
In the group, it's funny how a simple question can divide a nation. 300,000 blokes. The question was, Palmy or Palmer?
Oh, this is an easy answer, though.
Well, apparently it's not. We'll say it on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Palmy. You know why we say Palmy?
Because we're not
Retarded.
Victorians. Same thing. Yeah.
I don't know why there's such a conversation between Palmy and Palmer. There's no.
Yeah, it's so weird. And the Palmer people are so passionate about doing it wrong.
Do you reckon they just do it to take the piss? Like, that's satire for them?
I reckon that they like being different. You know, it's kind of like people that dye their hair blue and stuff. They know it's ridiculous.
And they love to complain about different things.
Yeah, but they just want to be different. The top comment, anyone who says Palmer has 2 mums.
It's fair. And one of their mums probably has dyed hair.
Probably.
Yeah.
And the other's got like the same haircut as you.
Oh. It'd be a nice haircut.
Great comment. Chicken burger.
Shout out Clayton.
Oh, what a placement for it. This is probably the best argument. It's a Parmigiana, so it's Palmy. The actual word is not Parmigiana, so you can't turn it into Parma.
How do you spell it?
I'm going off what this bloke said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Comments thread in
Gotcha.
Bloke's advice, so it's the dictionary. Parmigiana. If it is Parmigiana, that's how you say it. It's Palmy. Because Australians never use different vowels on the end of words.
No.
We don't do that.
We will change the I to a Y. I don't know why. You just do sometimes.
Sometimes. Let's go to one that's a little bit more heartfelt. And it goes back to what we were saying when guys post after the fact. So this was a guy that did reach out. He was in a bit of a dark spot and he just put up a bit of an appreciation post. Hey blokes, a couple of weeks ago I put a post up. It was the first time I was brave enough to speak up. Since the post, over 40 blokes from this page have reached out to me directly through personal messages, offering me advice and even offering their numbers in case that I needed to talk. I'd just like to say thank you. The support of this group is amazing, and if any one of you out there is struggling, just know you can reach out. These blokes will support you. Thanks, everyone. That's why we do Blokes Advice. So not often do we actually hear that side of it. We don't need the validation for it all the time, but a guy like that, we don't know how many people are messaging when this stuff happens. He's like 40 people straight into my inbox.
Yep.
Help, advice, phone numbers. He's got a support network immediately because he was brave enough to reach out.
That's half the issue. Half the issue is actually being brave enough to reach out. And we've said that time and time again, that unless you're brave enough to reach out, people don't know that you need the help or you need the support. So being that this has been a best of Blokes Advice and we've dived in and we've spoken about some of the satirical side of Blokes Advice, some of the heartfelt side of Blokes Advice, one very important side of Blokes Advice is the motivation, inspirational side of Blokes Advice. And our bloke of the week this week is someone who has been very, very active in the group for, I would say, a little while now. He's probably pulled some inspiration from one of our past guests, and he has been coming to all the barbecues. He's been posting up very regularly, and because of that, I want to give this guy a bit of motivation to keep doing what he's doing. This week's bloke of the week is Brayden.
Another bloke inspiring guys to get out there and lose weight. Big dude, it's hard to start when you were that big. He's already lost a shitload of weight. So as always, we'll get the merch back out to you, but I'm going to have to check in with him because the size keeps going down.
It does.
So when he started, he's like, I won't fit any of your shirts. He squeezed into the 5XL. He's down under that now. So yeah, we'll check in, see what size you are.
Maybe we just give him a medium, just that little bit of extra motivation.
That's 5XL to medium.
Yeah.
I mean, Dane went from a 15XL to a large.
So that's, it's doable.
It's doable, yeah, for sure. So check in with us, and yeah, thanks for inspiring so many blokes. It's really helped, people. He knows that because these guys, same as all the other guys, they're messaging him for advice, and he's got these little circles he's created. He's super active in the side chat we have to the Blokes Advice group, the Better Bloke Project, where guys can actually just have an ongoing conversation. So
that's actually starting to become such an unreal community inside that little side chat. I think we've maxed it out. It's 5,000 members in there, so it's not a small side chat.
But that's as big as we can actually do it. So if you can't get in, you actually have to wait for people to leave the chat so you can get in.
Yeah, it's a little bit exclusive.
And on that note, guys, we're going to round out another episode of the Best of Blokes Advice. If you like this or want to see us dive back into some of those older posts, let us know. You can jump onto the website, betterblokeproject.org, where you can find out all about the events we're doing, grab the resources, find out pretty much anything about the project, as well as donating to the cause, which is going to help us help more blokes, and we really appreciate that.
In saying that, if you are a business that wants to jump on board and get behind what we're trying to do, we would love to hear from you. Reach out to
contacts on the website. You'll find us. Drop a comment. We'll be in touch.
We will. On that note, we will leave you, and as always, be better. Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Better Bloke. If you got anything out of it, show some love by dropping a 5-star review below.
If you want to learn more about everything we're doing, head to the description, hit the links, and follow us on the socials. If you want to learn more about the project, head to betterblokeproject.org.